9th day after that, you know, when people could actually say, I guess they're gonna, you know, I mean, I guess it's in, by this time it would be in the newspaper, you know what I mean, everybody would know. Because there'd been a weekend passed by another weekend. How come 9 days? Somewhere in there, there's going to be a weekend by another weekend. And on that second weekend, there'll be a promenade on a Sunday, I guarantee. And there was like the Russians coming out to stop, like the Filipinos coming out to stop the, you know what I mean? People who have been wanting to come out and stroll with a joint in their hand will come out and come out. 20 million people walking in the streets of the country everywhere just do it. And that'll be the end. Just the total end of that paranoia and all of it. The country can get on with the business at hand. And that is to accept us as a continuing culture and accept what it is that and how we volunteer. And that's the, you know, that's theirs to make truce with. But they must recognize that we are a bona fide culture, a legitimate political constituency. We're involved in due process wherever we gather, wherever we're traveling to, because that's all it is a series of meetings, councils, confrontations. And, you know, one of these days, they're going to recognize that the jig is up. There's by far more of us than there are all of them registered Republicans, all the cops there are in the country, all the soldiers in the army. Yeah.
Pot smokers, okay.
We outnumber them. And the people that have tried LSD, MDA, crime, all the various things, everybody who's stepped out a little bit beyond the edge at one time or another, you're talking 65, 70 million. Now you're talking about how many that got drunk once and quit or twice and quit. That's another 10 or 15 million. You're talking about the majority of adults in the country by a huge whopping majority who just say enough is enough and that's that, no more of my taxpayers' money and it's over with. Pull the plug. And they ain't got a leg to stand on. Legal, scientific, sociological, cultural, any way, shape, or form. So in that sense, I felt that what I've been doing is the righteous thing. If I keep my back straight and I don't touch like this and smoke like I'm paranoid and I think nothing of it. Although I have to live in a war zone and it's, you know, that's the way it is. But, you know, primarily, I live day to day knowing that, you know, what I'm doing is of some service to the cause, and it's a right enough cause, and I do believe that it's constitutionally protected, and I work for that day in the future when 8, 9, 10 days after all the laws have been eliminated, or the enforcement of those laws have been eliminated as a policy of the enforcement industry. The sigh of relief that goes up around this amongst 20 or 25 million potheads. And my book, should sell.
5 million potheads together to smoke some pot.
Well, I mean, just knowing that on X day we're going to do it. No business as usual. Monday we're going to. You know what I mean? They would say something like,
"Call a day and do it for God's sake."
No, on BAI or Pacifica or something like that, you'd hear.
Call National Pot Day.
Yeah, and only 5,000 people.
Well, if you throw a National Pot Day, you don't throw it so everybody's coming to someplace. You have everybody walk out on the street and smoke.
Yeah, that's a good idea. A National Pot Parade Day or something like that.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Everybody go out and just fucking do
That's
it
a
right
good day.
outside your own goddamn house, and everybody go out and smoke your pot.
It's a good idea. Just one joint, one.
Walk up and blow it in your neighbor's face. And let the cops come arrest you. You know, just let the suckers come and arrest you and put everybody in jail, and then you sit there and go, "Hey, now what are you going to do with us?"
Yeah.
You know?
That's the hard one, getting people to go that far.
Well, the other part of it is they're not going to do it. They're not going to arrest all of us.
That's
what they'll do, and why the laws remain on the books, is that so that they can discriminatorily enforce those laws.
That's right.
They're not interested in uniform
That's right.
conformity with the laws.
No, the
See?
kids
Now,
also.
so in that sense, we just avoid that issue completely. Just stay away from them. Don't even try. The
I got a
best.
friend who goes out and every time he gets stopped for some vehicular thing, he pulls out a joint and lights it up. And he drives around in this old car because he knows they're going to stop him. And he drives through the suburbs, Newton and Wellesley and all that shit up there, rich places. And every time he gets stopped, he pulls out a joint and lights it up. And they come up, and 9 out of 10 times they will let him go. You know, and of course, if they don't let him go, they take him down there, they call up, and all of a sudden he's in a hospital. You know, they got nothing, they can't do anything to him. Because if he gets busted, oh, that's just another episode of his insanity. You know, and he goes into the hospital for 2 weeks and comes out and he's a poet and you know, does the rest of the shit. Been doing that for 20 some odd years. But he don't go to Rainbow.
I heard a good one one day. What did somebody say just recently? Rainbow was like
An outdoor asylum.
an outdoor asylum with outdoors.
That's
Well, that's
a
some,
statement.
two statements. I jammed them together. Well, it would look
Boom,
good.
Shankar.
Boom, Shankar. Anyway,
One
getting on. North Carolina was, but it was a great gathering. A great picture of North Carolina,
Was
and
there
North
harassment?
Carolina was the picture I think that they used in High Times.
Was there
Was
any
in North
harassment
Carolina.
from the authorities or
Oh,
locals?
getting in was terrible. I wouldn't even want to talk about it. That's another whole story.
Well, that's
I mean, I told you, I put on, while you were out, I put on there enough about it, how I got past the fence. I don't know where that comes from, somewhere in the military or I don't know where, but early on in the family,
What about the
I remember
Vision
them
Council
calling the
in
front
in
gate
Texas?
was the front porch. They used to stay out on the front porch, and then and then the other one was any kind of enforcement, right? Beyond the front porch was called the fence, and I don't know where that, that was just like code words or what, but I assume that's where I remember, seeing it the first few times. But anyway, I went to North Carolina and I left North Carolina, got back to D.C.
What about the Vision Council at North Carolina? Did you know anything about that selected Texas? Did you,
That's the one that I walked away from.
you walked away from it on the first day?
Frenchie and
It went on for how long? A week or something?
yeah, it's ridiculous. It was
4
ridiculous.
days?
I don't know, it was something 38. I don't know.
Vermont
It
was
was-
a new record, I think. But
Yeah, right. Well, Vermont was.
North Carolina was the previous record. I
Vermont may be the one that breaks the back. Something will be done now in regards to getting councils separated from circles, vision quests from heart songs,
I heard that.
work circles
Fourth
and
night or something.
seminar circles. Having so much, and it'll be true for Colorado for sure, or the Four Corners, wherever it shows up, because we'll be under scrutiny like we've never been under before.
By who?
By the media, the press of the world.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, ordinarily I don't answer why questions, so I'll rephrase it. What makes next year different than any other year? What makes it different than any other year is this.
The tripping scene of that 60s television.
Those are more interesting than mine.
Who gave it to me?
What was that one with Peter Sellers?
It goes that way.
Remember the hippie movie with Peter
No.
Sellers, where he drops out and becomes a hippie?
Oh, I saw that not long ago. Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about?
It's I Love You, Alice B. Toklas.
That's the one. I love you, Alice B.
Great movie. I'm sure.
1982 or 1992 will have about, in July, we'll have about 6,000 of Eastern Europe's finest reporters and media people traipsing around this country in preparation for the Democratic Convention in New York between the 15th and the 19th,